Hey all, good morning and welcome to ShareTreck. Today happens to be the 22nd of June 2022, and the futures are looking a bit red. We had already expected that. I was saying yesterday that this is a bear market rally and it's likely to fizzle out. I think that's what is likely to happen. Let's find out by starting off our daily update. Let's get started. First of all, I want to address something that happened yesterday. CRISPR Therapeutics rose very hard and then it fell very hard. So I don't know what the hell is happening out there. The data that came out for CTX 130, we had already known that that's how the data was and it didn't affect the market before. And besides, I've always felt that the sickle cell disease therapy is the lead candidate. And if anything were to go wrong with data there, then CRISPR would react. So it was a bit unusual. So if any of our community members have an idea of what happened to CRISPR Therapeutics yesterday, I would like to hear about that. Maybe most of our community members would like to hear about that. So if you have any ideas or clues, please put it in the description. Please put it in the comments below, and we can. It'll be nice to share that information. But that said, I have focused on CRISPR Therapeutics today in our initial outlook because I want to highlight all the things that CRISPR Therapeutics has done, because in my books it's still the top genomics company in our watch list today. And so I'm going to start off with a few news articles first. So here I present the first article to you. This is dated 19th of June 2022. America's first CRISPR trial is still nearly 100% effective 3 years on. This article goes on to talk about the data presented at the recent European Hematology Association Congress, and it says the first human trial in the United States to test CRISPR gene editing technology started back in 2019. The trial focused on two rare blood diseases, beta thalassemia and sickle cell diseases. They are talking here about the collaboration between Vertex and CRISPR Therapeutics. The name of CRISPR Therapeutics doesn't come here, but they have mentioned the name of Vertex, and we can recognize by the numbers of patients that this is exactly the CRISPR Therapeutics and Vertex collaboration that they are talking about. It says here, a follow-up announcement last year continued the impressive results with 22 patients treated and all demonstrating 100% success. Importantly, 7 of those 12 months past the initial treatment with no waning efficacy. That's a good result. We already knew that before. Now a new data release is offering results from 75 patients. Earlier it was 22 patients. Now it is 75 patients. 75 patients treated with the groundbreaking CRISPR therapy, now dubbed Exaccell. That's the new name for the CRISPR Therapeutics sickle cell therapy. Of these 75 patients treated, 44 were suffering from TDT and 31 had severe sickle cell disease. All but 2 of the 44 patients with TDT were essentially cured of that disease, needing no more blood transfusion. The 2 TDT patients still requiring blood transfusions had 75% and 89% reductions in transfusion volumes respectively. All 31 SCD patients were also free of disease symptoms at long follow-up. So this is spectacular results. The data yet to be published in peer-reviewed journal also reports no waning treatment efficacy with longest follow-up period stretching up to 37 months beyond the initial therapy. This is pretty good in my books, and nothing has changed in terms of efficacy of this therapy as published before, because earlier it was based on 22 patients and now they have increased it to 75 patients. So the volume of patients, the sample size has also increased. I don't see why CRISPR Therapeutics fell yesterday. I have some more news for you here. So we have another headline here. This is from MarketBeat. This is on 22nd June, that is today. CRISPR Therapeutics price target raised to 121 at Piper Sandler. So the article goes on to say, CRISPR Therapeutics had its target price lifted by equities researchers at Piper Sandler from 115 to 121 in a research report issued on Wednesday. The Piper Sandler's price objective indicates a potential upside of 87.10 from the company's previous close. Several other equity analysts have also issued reports on the stock. Oppenheimer dropped their target price on shares of CRISPR Therapeutics from 172 to 150 in a report on Wednesday, May 11th. Stifel Nicolaus lifted their price target on shares of CRISPR Therapeutics from 52 to 57 in a research note on Monday, June 13th. Royal Bank of Canada decreased their price target of CRISPR Therapeutics from $95 to $85 in a research note on Tuesday, May 10th. Credit Suisse Group started coverage on shares of CRISPR Therapeutics in a research note on Thursday, April 28th. They issued a neutral rating and a $78 price target for the company. Finally, BMO Capital Markets started coverage on shares of CRISPR Therapeutics in a research note on Thursday, June 16th, issuing an outperformance rating and a $98 price target for the company. One analyst has rated the stock with a sell rating, 6 have given a hold rating, and 11 have issued a buy rating to the company's stock, according to marketbeat.com. The stock presently has an average rating of moderate buy and an average price target of $116. And if you look at the price of CRISPR Therapeutics as of yesterday's market close, it was at 64.67, down 7.61%. So what is the reason for this fall? I still don't know. Let me see if there is any new news article here. There is no news article. So it's some kind of shuffling happening. Some big institution must have sold off shares, and something is happening out there. It broke below the support of 66.36, so I'm going to mark this as a resistance. Here we go, it becomes red, and it has still managed to bounce off this diagonal line of support, so our bull track is still intact. The only concerning thing is that the momentum is falling and the MACD is still bullish, but the falling momentum is what is bothering me. But still we are above average, so we may still turn around and bounce back, because I think this could be a situation where maybe there's a short squeeze or a margin call or whatever. I don't know. Something out of the ordinary must have happened, because we had 4 straight days of upward movement. And I would have definitely expected a drop, but not so steep. But we have bounced back from the 50-day exponential moving average, from this diagonal line of support, from the 20-day exponential moving average, and the 9-day exponential moving average, which became the final support. That's the state at which we have left CRISPR as of yesterday. So here is another article that I want to bring to your attention. This comes from Genetical Engineering News called genengnews.com. And the headline reads, CRISPR-Cas12a editing rates improve with better directions to the nucleus. And they are talking about isolating this particular Cas from a different bacterium, Acidomycoccus. And they are saying that these Cas12a nucleases embody several desirable attributes that Cas9 lacks. They exhibit greater editing precision, recognize a thymine-rich PAM, and use a single CRISPR RNA to detect its target, cut DNA in a staggered fashion, generating overhangs, process CRISPR arrays, and have been shown to function in diverse organisms, ranging from plants to mammals. So this is another positive development out here. Of course, this is not going to benefit CRISPR Therapeutics, but overall for our CRISPR field, this is going to be providing a much better precision. Probably it's going to reduce the time taken to create a therapy, because it's going to make all the editing much more effective and precise. So this is a positive development that we all should be happy about, in my opinion. With that, I think we had to go and have a look at our NASDAQ and the indices and see what's happening out there and see if the situation has improved. Let's start off with the future as always. The futures, NASDAQ futures, are indicating a negative start. They are showing a drop of minus 1.58%. And as you can see here, the MACD is bearish but tending towards a signal line, but momentum is below average. and pushing up. So the pre-market out here indicates that we are going to be opening bearish. So that is one strike out here. Let's go on to the indicators. And when we look at the indicators, we can see that the US oil is down. US oil is down minus 5.38%. And this is happening because the oil industry knows that there is a lot of demand destruction going on in the US. And when US has got demand destruction going on due to increase of interest rate by the Fed, it's going to mean that there is going to be less demand for production and transportation and everything. And therefore, the oil prices are going down. Soon we will see the OPEC countries reducing oil production in order to maintain the price once it goes below a particular level. So once we go below 100, we'll start seeing actions like that coming in. But that is what is happening out here. And another reason why it is happening is also related to the US dollar index and global funds flow. So if you look at the US dollar index, let us go to the 1 year time frame and look at US dollar index, we can see that the US dollar index is moving upwards. And the question for us is that if it is moving upwards, where is it taking money from? It's going to take money from all other sectors. But the contradiction here we are seeing is that the oil price is going down sharply. It has gone below our previous level of support of 107.52. The reason why this is happening is because as US increases its interest rates, the other countries that do not raise the interest rates are going to find that the investors are moving money from those currencies and going into US denominated assets, and that's going to lead to devaluation of those other currencies, and those countries will be forced to increase their interest rate in order to stabilize their currency and allow and prevent it from going into a free fall. And that is going to do demand destruction in those countries, and that's also going to mop up the liquidity. So you're having US mopping up the liquidity, and that is prompting other countries to mop up liquidity as well. So when liquidity gets mopped up, it's going to lead to demand destruction, and demand destruction is going to lead to a drop in demand for oil. And that's the reason why oil prices are falling, because right now there's an elevated oil production going on as a result of demands from various countries due to the drop in Russian oil supply. Another thing to note in this chart is the cup and handle pattern that I pointed out yesterday. We are moving nicely towards that. So I'm thinking the US dollar index is definitely going to break through 12,956. So I have enough material to do a separate video on this, and I will talk about the global financial fund flows in that video. So having said that, I think I would just like to quickly have a look at what's happening with our 10-year yields. 10-year yields are coming down. And when the yields do come down, that means the bond prices are going up. There is more demand. So it's sucking out money from other areas. So this doesn't look good for the stocks today. And our yield is at 3.186 for the 10-year. And for the 2-year, it's at 3.115. Though there is still a difference between the two of them. As long as there is some difference, we are okay. And as long as the 2-year yield is lower than the 10-year, we are still okay. And let us go and have a look at the VIX. So we can see that the VIX has gone up, and then it has come down a little bit. So it's forming a doji candle right now, a red doji candle, and it's way above where we were yesterday. And therefore, I think we are going to have a bearish open today. And I think our next level of resistance is going to be 33.77 here. I'm going to mark this as a resistance because we have fallen below it. And we have the support from the 9-day, 20-day, and the 50-day exponential moving average before we come to the next horizontal support of 27.20. And just like I mentioned yesterday, I think we need to cross over and hit the 40 resistance before we can have a resolution of all the weakness and remaining sellers in the market. Seller capitulation, I think, will happen after we cross 40 on the VIX. Till such time, we're going to have to deal with all the volatility that it brings along with it. That said, let us look at QQQ. It's around 8:34 a.m. and I can see that QQQ is negative. It's down 1.68% pre-market. When you look at this along with the NASDAQ futures, we can definitely say that it's going to be a bear market today. and we are having a support out here from this diagonal green line, which has formed a resistance for the previous bear channel and became a support for this new bear channel. So I'm anticipating that we bounce off from here. Right now we are at 276.32, which is somewhere out here on exactly on the diagonal line of support. If we break through that, then our next line of support is 273.52, which is this horizontal green line of support, failing which we have this diagonal green line of support out here, which is going to take us all the way to 263.92. So we'll have to see how the day progresses. And if I was to look at S&P 500, I can see that the S&P 500 is battling with this support, which is at 369.94, because pre-market we are down 1.65%. We are at 368.90. So if we fall below this line of support, then we'll have to look at a new support line. And I think that particular support line would probably sit here at 358.47. So that's where I would like to go. And we have a MACD which is very bearish but turning towards a signal line, and momentum also picking up, but it's way below average to be of much consequence at this point of time. Hopefully during the day it improves. So maybe we start the day bearish, but somewhere during the last hour of trading we might probably recover some of the losses that we have had today. That's the way I think it might probably unfold. So that said, I would like to go and have a look at the genomic shares. So we have the genomic shares out here with Bluebird Bio being the biggest gainer at 16.85. Let's go and have a look at Bluebird Bio and see what is happening out here. It seems that Bluebird Bio might probably consolidate in the next level of support, and therefore I think this red line is likely to become a green line. We'll watch for today's action. Today's price action keeps it still above this red line of resistance out here. We are at $4 pre-market. That is down 3.85%. So once the day is over, if we stop at this particular line of resistance, then I'll convert it into a support. But for now, I'm going to leave it as it is, because I am thinking that we may potentially come back into this support range and could probably do some trading in here. The one reason why I'm thinking that we might go to the next level of consolidation and convert this red line into a support is because of the positive news that Bluebird Bio has got in the recent past, in the last fortnight or so. That's likely to lead it to consolidate in the next level. That said, Bluebird is still a risky stock because the balance sheet is weak, so one has to be careful out there when doing any positions on Bluebird. The next biggest gainer is PACB, and again, as I mentioned, PACB is going to supply to most of the genomic companies because they would use its consumables and hardware. We can see that we are right now at 4.51, down 2.17% from the previous day, and we have this red line of resistance which sits at 4.56. So there's a bit of a tussle going on out there pre-market. If we manage to break above that, then it will be a positive case for PACB, but the chances are that because of the overall market sentiment, we are likely to return back into this channel, and this red line is going to be an effective resistance. We can see that the MACD is bullish and moving away from the signal line as of yesterday, but the momentum is below average even though it is picking up. So I would think that we might lose some on PACB today. Beam is up 6.37%, and I think we are having a new channel out here, which I could probably draw out here and push it a little bit up and mark it into a red color as resistance. So let us see if these two channels are holding for Beam. And if they do, then we could have some trade strategies out here. MACD is bullish and momentum is above average and picking up. So Beam should be able to retain some of its gains. However, the overall market sentiments and NASDAQ might weigh down on it and take it down a few notches during the day. And that said, let us look at Caribou Biosciences, which is down minus 0.54%. But I think Caribou Biosciences has to pick up today. Pre-market, there are no trades. There are some good news information for Caribou Biosciences. I'll do a separate video on that. And overall, I think all the shares that did very well yesterday are likely to give up some gains, and the ones that did bad yesterday are likely to pick up a few points. I'm still intrigued about how CRISPR Therapeutics lost 7.61% yesterday. I still think that it's some kind of a freakish situation where somebody had to respond to a margin call, or maybe a big institution decided to change its strategy and unloaded a whole lot of CRISPR stocks. It must be something like that. I very much expect CRISPR to bounce back today and at least regain the level of 66.36. That's what I'm rooting for, but pre-market it shows negative 2.89%. We can't always trust pre-market trades in individual shares. There could be various reasons why somebody might trade a share out there, and I'm really distressed to see that it's testing this diagonal line of support. We are still in a bullish channel, and at the most I won't mind having to move the bullish channel a little bit and make it into a 45-degree angle, but right now I'm happy that we are still above that. That's going to be our ultimate support. If we break down below that, then I would be really disappointed, because then we are going into a larger weakness. It has got a strong balance sheet, it's got plenty of cash, it's got great collaboration, and it's got the sickle cell therapy almost very close to the finish line, and great results, sustained results. So I think CRISPR is being treated very unfairly out here. That said, I think that I do not have much more to talk about with regard to the technical analysis, and I'd like to bring this video to a close. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please press a like out there so that YouTube can help our channel grow. And if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe and help us grow this channel. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.